You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest.
Hi everyone from Your Intuition Queen. Welcome to the 5th episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. Today I have the pleasure to have with me Lisa Reck, who is a best-selling author of the book Breaking Through the Storm and also a personal development blogger. Hi Lisa, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Mara, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here. So you're a best-selling author and you also are a personal development blogger. Would you like to tell us how did you get to become an author, a personal development blogger, a little bit about you, your story?
Absolutely. So I never actually had any intentions of writing a book. It was not a dream I had. It was not something that I wanted to do. It was something that just kind of overcame me one day, my intuition, I guess. I was in a part of my life where I kind of felt stuck. I wanted more. I just didn't know what that looked like. And so I was doing a lot of research online and reading books on personal development. Like, what can I do? Like, I needed something to inspire and motivate me. So I was reading a book one day on personal development and it just, this overwhelming feeling just came over me and was like, you need to write a book. And I didn't.
Can I ask you, what was the book that you were reading?
It was The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And it was almost the feeling like, if he can write a book and start from, nobody to this person that is, helping all these amazing people, why can't I write a book? But I had this feeling like I knew immediately what it was going to be about because my brother was tragically killed when I was little, and he always had these big, amazing dreams that he never got to live out, and it was just something that always bothered me. So if I could finish the last chapter of his life through this book, that's what I want to do.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I never had any intention of telling anybody I was writing this book. I was going to self-publish it and not tell anybody because I just wanted to write a book to finish his story. And so while going through this book writing process, I changed. I grew. I healed things that I didn't know were still hurting. And I ended up writing the book 3 times because every time I thought I was done, I would go through this transition period where I would realize that it was incomplete. And so I'd rewrite it again. My editor, I drove him crazy. The last version of the book I wrote, I ended up going to a personal development seminar. It was Jack Canfield Breaking Through Success. And through this powerful week-long seminar, I realized that this book, and the reason I was meant to write this book was to help other people. Went from just telling his story to not wanting to, tell anybody about it, to becoming this, yes, I'm going to share his message, but I'm going to also tell and help people how to heal and grow from their own tragedies. And it was this entire personal growth that I went through over the transition of a year writing this book.
Because the book, I don't have the actual copy because I bought the ebook, but you do, and you have it there. And the book is about your story and how you overcame that. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about the book and maybe the feeling that stuck with you the most when you were writing the book?
Yes. So the book is actually broken into 3 parts. And again, this is something that I ended up coming up with towards the end of the book. The first part of the book is my story. So I go into details about my life growing up from the loss of my brother. He was tragically murdered when I was 11 years old. It was 5 days after he had graduated from high school, and it was just the wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. And so that death of my brother led to my parents divorcing, and it led to a lifelong depression for my mother that she still battles with today, that I still deal with. So it's like this one event that just triggered this entire ripple effect throughout my life. So the first part of the book is the details of my story. And it was very difficult to write, but it was also very healing for me. And it's been 25 years since my brother passed, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm over it. I'm living my life. But when I wrote this book, I was like, oh my gosh, there's still a lot of healing that I had to do.
Yeah.
And so the second part of the book is your story, the reader. It's getting to know, acknowledging what your story is, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a tragedy. Everybody has an obstacle that has changed them in some way. And maybe it's not a traumatic death of somebody, but maybe it's something different. Maybe it's, being stuck in a job that it's just life sucking, right? It could be anything. And so it's acknowledging what your story is as a reader and understanding how you can heal from that through, and the two things that I touch upon the most in the book is gratitude and forgiveness, because I think those are the two foundations to really be able to heal, grow, and move on. And gratitude is just, it's the foundation for me personally. I think it's the foundation for anything.
Yeah.
You cannot live a happy life if you're miserable and focus on lack. And so gratitude helps you focus on abundance, helps you focus on what you already have rather than what you don't have. And so I think when you're healing or trying to heal from tragedy, from some sort of obstacle, you really need to focus on the good that's in your life and not the bad, because when you focus on the good, you bring more of that good into your life.
Yeah. Especially, I guess, for a situation like yours, where it's not gone from a illness or something, but it's been taken away. I guess that is a very core thing for you, because you really need to forgive someone else, not really, fate or whatever, but it just, you need to. So I guess that is super important for anybody that has had similar situations where you have someone to blame or something to blame, but then you also have to come to terms to your life and how you react and feel. That is really powerful.
Forgiveness also is not necessarily about forgiving somebody else. It's also about forgiving yourself. And it's about forgiving yourself for holding on to anger, for holding on to all those emotions. You need to learn to forgive yourself in order to be able to forgive somebody else, because it all starts internally.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And so then the third part of the book is our story. And that is, how can we as humans, as a society, how can we help other people with what we've experienced, what we've gone through? So I talk a lot about, a lot of people will go through these tragedies, these obstacles, and they'll realize that their passion and their purpose is helping other people. A lot of people become coaches, or they become, they start their own organizations to help people, or these groups. And so I just think it's really important that I think that the reason that we go through these tragedies is not only to learn and grow personally, but to help other people who are experiencing the same thing. And that's, I think, just how we grow together.
Yeah, I agree. And I am seeing in all the women that I am interviewing for the podcast, there isn't one that hasn't had some sort of wake up call, if you want to call it in that way, or some sort of difficult moment in life. And that is what changes your perception of how you want your life to be. And that makes you realize, okay, I had enough grief, I had enough negativity in my life, I want to change. And it turns out that then when you do that switch, life completely changes. You're able to help other people.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you wrote this book, and what happened afterwards?
Yeah, so I self-published the book, and it is on Amazon. I went through a lot of, it was just, gosh, I can't even explain it. It was just so eye-opening to me when people started reading my book, and they started coming to me and saying, oh my gosh, you have inspired me. Or I learned so much from your book, or I never knew this about you, because I never told anybody about all these things happening in my life. I just kept it internal. And so it was just really...
Was it difficult for you, or because you thought it was not necessary for people to know this bit of you?
Well, so keep in mind, Mara, that I was 11 when this happened. So I remember, and it was over the summer, so I remember going back to school that fall, And I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. And not because it was difficult to talk about. I mean, it was, but I didn't fully understand what was happening because I was so young. But at the same time, I was afraid that people would judge me. I was afraid of what people would think of me. I was afraid that people would see my life as broken.
Right.
And, you know, and that's that's kind of hard to carry when you're only 11 years old,
Yeah.
you know. So that was really why I didn't want people to know, you know, when I was younger. And even writing this book, like I said in the beginning, I had no intentions of telling people I was publishing this book because I knew nobody knew about my story, because I never had told people. I never went into the details that I did in this book. And that was a huge healing process for me, just getting that story out there and telling people about my story, the difficult things that I did go through. And it has changed me in so many ways and made me so much more understanding of myself. It's easier for me to open up and talk to people, and that's how I can help other people, by opening up and being vulnerable and authentic to people.
Yeah, because you released that part of you that was still stuck, because you have to let go at some point. But if you don't work on it, it becomes really difficult. And I remember when we met at BTS that you were kind of like, yeah, well, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For listeners that don't know, Mara and I met through at Breakthrough to Success, which was hosted by Jack Canfield. So it was kind of all ties together about how I was reading his book, and then reading his book made me want to go to a seminar, and that's how I met Mara. But Mara is somebody that I had not known prior to meeting her at Breakthrough to Success. And I had said to myself on day one, I said, I'm going to meet somebody that is, you know, very similar to me, that I can get along with, that will help me magnify my experience here at Breakthrough to Success. And on day one, I saw Mara, and I immediately knew that she was the person that I was meant to be with that week. And we have built an amazing, amazing friendship. And I'm just so lucky and blessed to have known you, Mara.
I am really grateful for everything that happened that week, but I think I was looking for something very similar. It was like, I want to meet people that I can become friends and that have the same mindset that I have, that can help me move forward. And this is what happened with the two of us, because we did things together even afterwards, and we are still here, and we are going on doing our stuff, but we have a confrontation about it. We share feedback, and it just that there is a connection that it goes beyond just being, you know, talking to each other every day or whatever it is that we do. There is a kind of like energy, because I do think that everything is connected. And when you set yourself the intention to do or meet someone, and you take action, then you do. And that's what happened to us. Okay, but let's go back to what you were saying about the reaction of your readers. Did you not believe people could find inspiration from your book?
Initially, no, I didn't. I had a lot of fears over this book. It was very personal. I mean, I was afraid to tell my family that I wrote this book. I mean, I remember having my brother read it before I even published it, because I'm like, I just want to make sure, like, it's going to be okay. Like, I was so nervous, just being that open. And it just, so the feedback that I got, that people were so inspired and they were raving about my book, it just made me feel so much better. It made me realize that, yes, because I stuck to what I felt inside about publishing this book, that I had this internal feeling that this book will help somebody. And that's kind of what kept me going. And that's what kept me rewriting the book, because I never felt like the message was there in the beginning. And then all the personal development and growth I went through while writing this book made me realize that my why for this book changed, and that it was to serve a message and serve a purpose for other people. And so once I got that feedback that was happening, it was so amazing. And I stuck to my gut, and I stuck to what I was listening to that little voice inside my head that said, you have to do this. And so even though I didn't want to, even though I was scared, even though I had all these fears around it, I did it. And I said, what's the worst that going to happen. And my one thing is, even if one person, just one person, got something out of my book, healed or felt inspired or felt like that they could overcome what they were going through, then that's it. That's all. I was okay with that.
I think that is the thing. You always think that nobody's going to read it, but at the end of the day, people will, and the people that do. And I can personally share my feedback on the book. I lost my dad in a completely different way, but it really resonated with me how you could feel. And I don't think you need to have lost someone to resonate with your book, because it's so heartful. You can tell you wrote it from your heart, and at the same time you use that tragedy to change your life and to give hope to people that think they can never do that. Because I feel also that when people experience something so painful so deeply, you get to a point where you think this is never going to be the same. My life is never going to be happy. I will never be the same person, which is true. But you can change your life. It's not easy at times, but through time and through a little bit of effort in trying to, as you say, be grateful and forgive yourself, and a little bit by bit, you can change your life. So definitely everybody can be inspired by this book. Go check it out. Go on Amazon. I'll put the links afterwards. We'll talk about where we can get your book and everything. But I do feel people resonate with those kind of books because they can see it's real. Yeah. You really change your life for real after that.
Mm-hmm. And for anyone that is like feeling stuck, or they don't know how to get to a place where that they can start to heal, the biggest thing that I can say to somebody is take an action. Just take one action. Just take one step, and you will just be so amazed at where it guides you. Because if I had that feeling in that had come over me that was telling me to write a book, and if I just said, who am I to write a book? I don't know what to write about. If I had second guessed and said no to myself, then I would not be where I am today.
All right. That's absolutely right. And it's really powerful. It's that little action that moves you forward, because you start to see what you can do with that action. And it takes a little bit of effort and a little bit of patience, but it is really trusting what your inner voice tells you, and you trusted yourself when that voice told you write this book. And even if you thought, okay, I'll write it for me and nobody's gonna see it, but your perception changed along the way because you kept on taking action. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's going on with you now? Because I know that after the book, you kept on going on with your personal development, and you're creating something amazing. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yes. So I have actually a couple of things going on right now, but the big project that I'm working on right now is actually a collaboration book of people's stories. So we have a bunch of people that have endured similar, tragedies, obstacles, just really things that changed their life, and they're submitting these stories for this book that is going to just be, I'm just so super excited about launching this book. I don't have a launch date yet. We're still in the creation process and collecting stories.
So you're still collecting stories now?
Yes.
So you need stories?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about it. What kind of stories do you need? Who can submit stories? Can the readers and the people watching and the listener of this podcast submit this story? Tell us a little bit more.
Yep. So the stories that we're looking to collect is telling us about your tragedy, your obstacle. What did you have to, and what is your story? And then how did you overcome that? Mm-hmm. And then how did it help you become the person that you are today?
Right.
So those are the three pieces that we're looking for these stories.
Okay. And for anybody that wants to submit a story to you, where do they need to go? How they can do that?
Yeah, they can contact me via email, lisa@lisareck.com.
Okay, all right. So I'll put all the links below, and there will be also in the notes. So if anybody feels compelled to share their story about their tragedy and how they overcame it and how they found their way somehow, please do write to Lisa, because, and also you can have inspiration from her book Breakthrough to Success, because this is really important. The more we share stories like this, the more we can inspire other people to take action and be more hopeful about life, because tragedies really, really bring us down to the core at times. And it's really difficult. And as you said, you know, you were just 11 and you only healed properly when you wrote the book, which was about a year, 2 years ago. So, you know, sometimes it takes so long, but we can still do it. So it doesn't matter what's your story, just share it, because it can benefit, even as Lisa says, just one person, but then it's one person that can change their life thanks to your story. So absolutely. And I guess you're going to go through a process of deciding which stories. Are you going to then let the person that submit the story know that the story is going to be in the book?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. The title of the book that I've decided on is called Our Unfinished Lives. So it's about how, even though you overcame or you endured this tragedy or this obstacle, you didn't quit on your life. Like, you didn't let it consume you. You didn't let it ruin your life. You realized that your life was not finished and that you had to overcome it. And how did you get through that? So this is really my passion project, because it's like, it's not just my story. My story will be in the book, but it's everybody's stories about how we all have these tragedies, these obstacles, how we all overcame them, and then to inspire and help other people. So it's just,
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know you're writing the book, you're co-writing the book.
mm-hmm.
So, and I will have Dylan in one of the next episodes, so she will also tell us her side of the story. So okay, so now you're just collecting stories, and then you will decide and write the book based on the stories that you have. Okay, all right. So, and what is making you want to do this now? I mean, you said, okay, of course you want to inspire people, which is what happened with your previous book and probably this other book. But where does that feeling of wanting to inspire people comes from? Why?
So it's the people's reactions that just really inspire me and make me feel good about myself. And it's so powerful when somebody says that I inspire them. Like, that is my motivator. That is my why. That's what keeps me going. And so right now I have a personal development blog. It's called the Imperfectly Perfect Life. And it's just a lot of personal development, your mindset, goals, manifestation, how your mindset and your goals will ultimately result in manifestation. And so every week I put out a new blog, and it's just another means for me to help people on a weekly basis. So I love to help inspire people. I love to help them feel like they can accomplish something. So I just want to keep that going, and that's why I started my blog doing that as well.
All right. Okay. So what are the themes that you feel people need to hear the most about?
I find that people need the most help with is their mindset and clarity. Because if your mindset is not in the right place, you can't achieve your goals. You can't reach your dreams, because you always have this limiting belief that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, you're not whatever. Right? So if your mindset isn't there and you don't have the clarity of what it is that you want to go after, you're never going to get to achieving your dreams. You're never going to manifest whatever it is that you want into your life, because your mindset isn't right. So the foundation is definitely your mindset, getting clear on what it is you want, and then believing that you can do it.
That's right. And I feel that mindset is super, super important. And the thing is, sometimes we don't even know we have a limiting belief, but we struggle to manifest what is it that we want. It is a different career, money, a person. So, and there is something inside of us that is blocking us, and it's either fear which if you know, I mean, you feel fear, so you know there is a fear there, but normally that fear comes from your limiting beliefs, and you need to know what your limiting beliefs are and change your mindset around them, so then you can move forward. So that is absolutely amazing. That is really powerful. Okay, so what else are you doing right now? If there is anything that you want to tell us more, anything that you feel our listener and the people watching can be inspired to maybe take action, or maybe just, I don't know, think about something and move forward.
My advice to somebody is, if you're struggling with something, if you're trying to overcome something, if you feel stuck in your life right now, my best advice is don't give up. Don't lose hope, because you will always break through the storm. So if you just take one small action, you know, whether it's talking to a friend or talking to somebody or listening to a podcast that makes you feel inspired, just keep going. Do the internal personal development work that you need, get your mindset right, and just take action.
Yeah, that's amazing. And reach out to people, and reach out to us. You can reach out to Lisa if you want to know more and understand how she managed to do that. She can help you with that. Reach out to me, reach out to your friends and people that really will help you move forward, because everybody has friends and family that really care for them and will be there for you. So try to understand who are those people and reach out to them. And if you don't have anybody like this, there are people like us that you can reach out anytime, and we can help you move forward. So
absolutely.
Okay, so just to close this down, I want you to tell us exactly where to find your book, where to find you, where to read your blog, anything, any of your contact details, so then people can get in touch with you if they want to either submit their story or just get in touch with you to know more, or maybe to be coached.
Yes, so you can find my story, my book, Breaking Through the Storm, on Amazon. So you can just Google, search on Amazon rather, Breaking Through the Storm. You can submit a story to me at lisa@lisareck.com if you'd like to submit a story for our upcoming book. And if you would like to learn more about my blog, you can look The Imperfectly Perfect Life, and you can subscribe to that, and you'll get that delivered to your inbox every week for inspiration.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been a great pleasure to have you on the podcast, and I hope to have you soon again. Thank you. And for everybody watching and listening, get in touch with us for questions, for feedback, for anything. If you want, you can download my free guide about how to use your intuition to feel more confident in your career. Just go on my website, theintuitionqueen.com, and get in touch with us. Let us know if there is anything you're struggling with, anything that you feel you need a little bit of help. We're here for you. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lisa.
Your mind is clearer than before. Your heart is full and wanting more. Your future's at the door.